In this video, you will see a Band 8+ interview with an Ielts aspirant who is all ready to take the Ielts speaking module. Do note the useful language that will be shown on screen. What's your full name?
My name is Manisha Narung and you can address me as Manisha.
What kind of books do you like to read, Manisha?
I mostly like to read biographies. I am not sure why, but it is interesting to read about people's real lives, especially when they have had interesting lives and have had to deal with many problems. I also read fiction, but I often find it difficult to get hold of a book that I like. Additionally, I also like reading books dealing with current affairs.
Do you read the same kind of books now that you read when you were a child?
Not really. No, actually, I didn't read that much when I was a child, and when I did, it was mainly fictional books such as fairy tales, The Lion, the Witch and the Wardrobe, basically all the fantasies.
When do you think is the best time to read?
I think any time is okay, but when I read, I like to be mindful, so I avoid reading for a short time like on a bus ride, as some people do. Moreover, I like to put time aside to enjoy it. So if I have some free time at the weekend, I might read for a few hours, and I nearly always read before I go to bed. This really helps me to sleep.
Describe an environmental problem that has occurred in your country. You should say the cause of the problem, what effect it has had on your country, the steps, if any, that have been taken to solve this. Explain why you think this problem is so important to solve.
Okay, I'm going to talk about a problem with the environment in my country. One of the most serious problems at the moment is flooding. This is starting to happen every year and each year, and it seems to get worse. Now I think there are many reasons for this to happen. Firstly, there has been a lot of deforestation in the north of the country, a lot of it from illegal logging. Because of this, when it rains, the water has nothing to soak it up, so it just runs down the mountains and into the villages and towns. Another factor can be global warming. Scientists believe this is causing more severe weather, which may account for the increasing amount of rain we seem to be seeing right now. It also means the soil is drier, so the rainwater runs off it again rather than being soaked up. Unfortunately, there have been really serious effects on my country. As I said, the excess water runs into the villages and the towns through the rivers, and the rivers then overflow, causing massive flooding. This affects thousands of people who then become homeless, and people being homeless is the worst thing for a country to face. I can't imagine how many of them die each year just like that, and my main issue is nobody seems to care about it. Now, the rain actually travels through the country as it starts in the north and goes down to the sea. So it affects many towns and the capital city too. This also has repercussions for the government, as they have to spend so much money managing the disaster each year. Although the government is trying to tackle the problem, but it is not easy. They are trying to stop so much deforestation, but a lot of the damage has already been done, so what can they do? They are also starting to build defenses such as walls along some of the major rivers that run through the town to try to stop them overflowing. Additionally, they are trying to improve their response systems. For instance, in most towns, there is now a government organization responsible for coordinating relief operations and making sure they are prepared in advance. I think this problem should be a top priority to solve because it has such devastating impacts. As I mentioned before, it causes suffering for so many people, and it is also a huge expense for the government. And as we are not a rich country, we cannot afford this. Hence, that is the serious problem in my country, and I only hope that it does not continue to get worse.
Tell me about some of the environmental problems that are affecting countries these days.
Well, there are a lot at the moment. Although it has not been proven for sure, there is a great deal of consensus that global warming is leading to severe weather change, resulting in many problems. We are seeing a lot of countries with the same problems that they have always had, but on a much larger scale. For example, there seem to be far more hurricanes and tornadoes in the United States than in the past, with more devastating effects. There seems to constantly be news of serious flooding in many countries from Asia to Europe. Forest fires also seem to worsen, particularly in Australia, each year.
Do you think that governments around the world are doing enough to tackle the problems?
No, usually I don't think they're doing enough. Some countries do what they can to help the people when problems occur and are trying to come up with measures to mitigate the effects. But when it comes to the major issue of global warming, countries are not doing enough. We see time and again that no agreement can be made on how to reduce carbon footprints. This is because governments know that to reduce carbon dioxide emissions, seriously, they will have to sacrifice economic growth. And they are not prepared to do this. Moreover, governments think very short term. They know that they will be voted out if there is economic decline.
Why do some people not consider environmental problems to be serious?
I think there are several reasons for that. In some cases, it is simply because people are not affected on a day-to-day basis, so it does not concern them. They just see it on the news affecting other people. It does not mean they do not care, but they will soon forget about it. In addition, some big organizations can be responsible for putting the wrong information out. For example, oil companies have a vested interest in making sure people do not believe in global warming, as it could affect their profits. So they play the issue down. Moreover, some people think as it is a long-term problem, they will be dead by the time it will affect them. So they think it is not important for them.
So this was all about the speaking module. I'll come back with more interviews so you can see what you should do and what you shouldn't. Stay tuned for more content and don't forget to like, share and subscribe. Hit the bell icon to make sure that you're notified of all the upcoming videos.